Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me, and thank you as always for your continued support. Sorry I've been away for a couple of days. I've had a nasty virus which I'm just recovering from, so wasn't really up to making any videos, but so it means that I've got a couple of stories that are I've been looking at while I haven't been well, and so there'll be a couple of videos coming out, not in the same day, but I'll have a few things to carry on with. So you may have seen something that the DWP and the government released, which was talking about a survey which apparently showed that around 200,000 people currently claiming benefits said that they were happy to go back to work. Now, of course, on the face of it, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, there are going to be some people out there who are on benefits who want to go back to work for whatever reason that might be. But when you look at the figures a little bit deeper, it's a little bit not quite as the government have said it is. You know, they're crowing about it and saying, well, got all these people that want to go back to work, but the figures don't necessarily bear that out. So I'm going to show you the article, and you can take a look at it. Okay, so this is are disability benefit claimants ready to work? The truth behind DWP's claims ahead of welfare reforms. Officials pointed to a new survey carried out by the government that found 200,000 people claiming health and disability benefits said they would be ready to work if the right job or support was available. The survey that the Department for Work and Pensions were excitedly talking up was contained in a report drawn up by research organisation NatSen, which asked 3,401 disability benefit claimants for their views on their health and proposed prospects for work. But the report's actual findings paint a much less supportive picture for the DWP and its imminent plans to slash disability benefits. The report found that, unsurprisingly, people receiving disability benefits were indeed disabled. Well, what a surprise. Fully 82% said their health conditions reduced their ability to carry out daily activities a lot, with 15% saying a little and 3% not at all. And that isn't even the only form of disability. Almost everyone received help completing daily tasks. Customers found it challenging to use public transport due to physical discomfort, accessibility, and fears of crowded and unfamiliar environments. For some, even leaving the house became a huge task, leading to isolation and disconnection from friends and family. Among those who started receiving out-of-work benefits last year, 92% applied because their health condition stopped them from being able to work. Other common reasons included being told to do so by the DWP. I've never heard of that. Let me know if you've been told by the DWP to do that. I've never heard of that. Or the job centre, which apparently is 35%, or by healthcare professionals, 30%. None of these figures lend themselves to claims that large numbers of recent claimants are in some way fit to work. But the government might point to instead the PIP claimants who don't receive the universal credit disability element. Just under half have a equivalised income of more than $15,000 a year. Equivalised income is calculated by dividing the household income by the number of people in it. Roughly speaking, if the DWP tries to means test PIP, this is the sort of figure that it will use, arguing that public money should be targeted on those with lower incomes. But 15,000 is not a lot of money. No, it isn't. It isn't at all. A means test set high enough that will only affect those on genuinely uncomfortable incomes won't save much money, and a means test set low enough to have savings will inevitably hit people down the income scale. And I feel there's no evidence to say they are going to means test it. I haven't read anything that suggests it's going to be means tested. But if they did, and they set it low, then of course there's going to be legal challenges to it. So I don't think that's how they're going to run it. I've certainly read no evidence to suggest they're going to means test it. The survey asked disability benefit claimants about their ability to undertake paid work with the following results. Now that's a little scale there, which I'm going to try and put up a bit bigger if I can, so you can see that. But I'll leave it on the screen a bit so that you can pause the video if you need to take a look at that. When the DWP published its research, it led off by excitedly declaring, new survey suggests 100,000 people claiming health and disability benefits are ready for work now if the right job or support was available. That £200,000 is extrapolated from the 5% of survey respondents who gave that answer, few customers, to use the wording of the report itself. The authors of the report then state many customers in this group were receiving ESA or universal credit with no work-related activity requirements, showing a potential difference between the customers' perspectives on their ability to work and the perspective of the DWP. This sentence will be manna from heaven for ministers looking to tighten disability access assessments, but the 40% figure looks though the wrong end of the telescope. More than half of everyone on the survey is on ESA or UC with no work-related activity requirement. As a result, a large chunk of every category, every answer and every status in the survey is made up of these claimants. 40% of those out of work but ready to work are claiming ESA or universal credit with no work-related requirements. 3% of those claiming ESA or UC with no related work requirements are out of work but ready to work. As a basis for tightening disability benefit assessments, the increasing claimant conditions is junk. And even saying that 5% of claimants could work right away doesn't tell the whole story. Of these claimants, 72% said they could work within a year, indicating that a quarter couldn't. In qualitative interviews, customers were often eager to work but wanted a gradual re-entry, the report said. Customers talked about wanting to work part-time while their health improved, with an aim to move into full-time employment. Now it goes on to say that some of those people felt that they would never be able to work again. Indeed, almost half of those surveyed felt that they could never work again. A quarter of respondents said that they might be able to work in the future if their health improved, and in qualitative interviews, it was common for customers to frame the possibility of a return to work as a hypothetical or ideal one rather than a realistic one. So basically they were saying, in a hypothetical way, would you be able to return to work? In a hypothetical way, I guess you could say that, but it depends. And it says a fifth of those on disability benefits currently in some kind of paid work, including half of those who only claim PIP. This data factors in any amount of paid work, but it will be part-time or full-time. It goes on to talk about working from home. However, it does say that working from home can obviously cause loneliness, it can cause isolation. Of course, there are going to be people that maybe can only work from home if they can work at all. But it obviously does have a knock-on effect in terms of loneliness and isolation. Now, it also goes on to say that some people obviously can work, but a lot of people who have said talking about work, it goes on to say that they could work if they had treatment. And I think this is another thing that's being talked about here, is that a lot of people say, if I got treated, if I had this done or I had that done, or if the doctors or the consultants were able to fix this or that, then I could possibly be able to get back to work. So there's a knock-on effect here. It's not just about can I work now, can I work next week. It's about I could possibly go back to work if I had this done. So there are broader reasons here why people might not be able to work. There are of course some who can't work at all and have been told that they can't, or have been told by a consultant or a doctor that there's nothing they can do to improve their condition. But it's some of those things that makes it very difficult. So when you're looking at this the survey that the DWP have put out, obviously it's not as black and white as they have made out, of course, because they're obviously going to try and spin it the best way they possibly can. So when you actually look at the report and you go into it a bit further, it doesn't actually suggest what the DWP are saying. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I hope that you're all doing well. Don't forget to subscribe if you've got this far. I would love to have your support. It does help the channel grow. And I'll see you in the next one.